it. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Smoking big cigars. I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one, I'm the lady that will bring you down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this
From the beginning. Rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this
And hello, good evening. How's everyone tonight? How you going, Brett? How have you been?
Good. How are you going, Mark?
Oh, look, this bloody beautiful weekend, like pouring down rain.
Yeah.
I was down your way, down in Toowoomba with Michelle yesterday, and we were just driving around there. And by the time we got to near your area there, it was just it stopped raining. It was all dry.
Yeah.
So tell me how that works.
Wasn't enough rain, mate.
Yeah, look,
rain.
We had all night rain, and obviously you got out of it really easy. But then again, you need the water, don't you? I mean, you need to fill your tanks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
So how's everyone here? We've got a few people here. We've got Riss, Lauren, Michelle, Brett is here. And we've got Azza as well. How you going, Azza? And who else have we got here? Oh, we need more people. Come on, guys. Give us a thumbs up and everyone say hello in the comment box. We're just doing a sound check, just making sure that everyone can hear us perfectly. and there are no problems.
Yeah, just make sure that we're sounding okay. And
just give us some feedback about the audio, guys, and let us know if everything's all right there. We are. I was just on Facebook, Brett, and we're just. I was just making that comment to you how slow the internet is tonight. So I don't. Let's hope we'll get through the show fine.
Yeah. So, but yep, it sounds like yes, our sound is pretty good. Thanks to Road for the new mic too.
Brett has got a new mic, everyone. So there you go. Woohoo!
Mm-hmm. Took us a while to get it all right, but I think we're there.
Dancing, yep. So good day, everyone. Bopping slightly, yeah. Look, I mean, the pre-show is just there to get everyone hotted up and dancing and making them all happy. And I hope everyone's got their drink, because we're just going to 2 more minutes and then we're going to start the actual show proper.
Yeah, we've got a lot to go through and talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So
Lauren has already turned around and said that she likes your microphone, so everything is
thank you.
Online. So road is the word, I think.
Yes. Yeah, Australian made, I have to add too. So yeah.
And this is just some flour. So she's done some. She made everything wet, Brett.
Well, I hope everybody had a good weekend, and everybody's been out shooting. I've seen a lot of people in the group have been posting, and they've been putting up a lot of posts. So, Lauren,
we love seeing that sort of stuff. Stay active in the group. It's always a word.
Yeah. Hi, Sharon. Welcome.
And as I was saying, audio's perfect, so we're in luck, Brett, tonight. Everything seems all right.
Thank God.
Little celebration drink here. What is that all about, Riz? Tell us. Tell us what you're celebrating. Hi, Sharon. So, how you going, Sharon? Sharon is in the house as well. Just going to correct this. Okay. So, how about, Brett? We'll start the intro and we'll get everyone rocking a little bit more.
Yeah, and then we'll be back and into the show.
Yeah, guys. Okay, so we'll see you on the other side. So here we are again in the show proper. So how's everyone going? And we've been having this beautiful rain, wet Sunday and Saturday, and we can definitely tell here in Australia the winter is coming. It's definitely getting a lot colder. As you can see, I'm already wearing my hoodie, and Brett is already wearing his jumper. So we're out of t-shirt stage now, and we're getting properly into the winter part. But then again, our winters in Australia are milder in comparison to other countries. So
that's right.
Yeah, lucky country, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And just read Riss got her her cover again, you know. So she got
That's nice. Yeah.
the.
She's on a winning streak.
Yeah. How many times has that been now, Riz? I mean, you should be a permanent fixture by now, shouldn't you? Or you're paying them sort of like just sort of doing the slide, you know, like, you know, here's $20.
Hey, Bill. Welcome.
And Bill is here. Howdy, Bill. I've got a GoPro here that's actually sticking its neck down too far. I've got to bring it up a bit more. That's better. Yeah. So so Bill is here as well. Bill must be cold down there. Hey, Bill. Everyone's saying hello and their bits.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a bow. 8th win since she joined, says Riz. So it's just, you know, you got to leave something for the other people, Riz, I believe. No, but you're doing really well. I have not seen the picture yet. Have you seen the picture, Brett? Which picture won?
I didn't see it this time.
We'll definitely see it on Facebook sooner or later, I'm sure, in the group.
Hi, Barry. Good evening.
Yeah, so we're having more and more people coming through here. Like, so the styles are still turning, so that's really good. How you going, Barry? How's things? Okay, so Brett, we have got a show that we haven't done before.
That's right.
We are going to do some critiquing for the people that put their pictures up, and we'd like to thank everyone that put their pictures up, and we're hoping in the future to do much more of them. We can't do everyone's picture and all the pictures all the time, so we had to sort of just filter out some of the pictures that we thought would be really nice to actually go through and critique. And Brett, I believe you've got 6 pictures. And
about that, yeah.
About there, and I've got about 6 pictures as well, and we can both sort of have an input, but Brett will be doing his side and I'll be doing my side, so we are actually not boring everyone. And
you'll get not just the CC from me on my side, but Mark will give his thoughts as well, and I'll do the same thing when he brings the photos up that he's CCing.
Yeah, guys, you're going to get a double whammy from us all.
Yeah, so I hope we do. I hope we do very
not
well.
To be too. We're definitely not going to be too tough on pictures, and we're probably not going to cover it all and go into too much detail. Obviously, Brett.
Yeah.
But we so do understand when we're doing critiquing, based on how we see images and what we think. So this is at no time meant to be the law, or we're not setting down any. We're just giving positive input.
That's
okay,
right,
guys.
Okay.
And Sharon says, "Not all mine." No, we haven't got any of your pictures, Sharon. Did you put some? I think Sharon put in something like 20 or so, didn't she? Like,
yeah.
And here's Lily. How you going, Lily?
Yeah. And
How's
Sharon,
things?
you gotta let me know how you go with the tripod. So yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been buying stuff, you know. So it's
yes, I've been
unrelenting.
getting messages left, right, and center about lenses, cameras, tripods, and So thanks to all those guys that give me a PM and want to clear something up, and I'm more than happy to help out as much as I can, and what I think and what you're looking for. But so thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's and Rissa says that she's been getting more think tank gear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think tank. Yeah.
Well, think tank. I've got a think tank bag, a 4-wheel
okay.
roll-on. So.
Yep, Sean. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm happy that you that's the one you want. So.
How about Brett, if I'm going to do a screen share with you and we'll go straight into the critiquing. No fussing around. We're not going to leave people sort of hanging there. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for this?
Do my best. This is not my thing, but I'm going to have a go for everybody because everybody mentioned our last live show that they wanted to get some photo critique. So yes, I'm sharing at the moment there, Mark.
Oh, so Sharon is waiting for a bucket of money to come into the bank so she can buy a tripod. There you go. And lenses are a little out of reach, says Riss right now. Okay, so how about I'm going to switch over to your screen share there, Brett.
Yep.
So there we go.
Right. Most of these images I'm going to show you now, they're from Sharon. They're from different ones that she sent me offline. But anyhow, I'm just going to go through some of hers. And after one image, I'll Mark can have a look at it and see what he thinks and so forth. So,
yeah.
And yeah, the first one here we got here is a gecko. Was sharing there, Mark, or what?
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Hey, Michelle. Welcome. Technical issues.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, technical issues. I've had my screen locked. So this is going to be more difficult than ever before.
Is it Facebook?
Yeah, it's strange.
It just doesn't want us to do CC.
Well, that's certainly not the image that I want to bring up. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, we're glitching.
We are, but someone's saying yes, they can. Here we go. Why is it so small?
No, that's. Was that the picture? Was it, Brett?
Yeah, but you didn't have full screen. It wasn't. Yeah. This is the first technical.
This is interesting. We've got some technical difficulties. We've got. We're not able to lift off. Now the problem I'm having is that it seems to have gone behind the. Wow, this is.
You're bringing me up now.
This is not good. Yeah, I know. Okay, so hang on, just let me widen this up. So the guys see that there you go. So everyone can start critiquing us. Okay, so I'll bring this picture up.
That's on a gecko. That's great.
Whoa!
Oh, you got
there's. This is funny. I don't know why it's sort of like hanging on me.
You know, you're going all haywire now, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Just
bear with us, guys. I don't know, for some reason it's just not activating. What have I got here? I've got a...
It was all working before.
This is interesting. Okay, so I can cycle through it this way. There you go, Brett. There's your picture.
Oh, John.
Okay, I'll just yeah, there's the picture you can critique. Okay, guys. So this is about as big as I can get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, last week we had a full screen. What's going on?
Yeah, for some reason it's just not.
I don't know. I haven't changed anything, so. But to see what happens.
Yeah, it's just not allowing me to exchange out on this. Anyway, we can just go from here, Brett.
Okay. Sorry about this, guys, and that, but as you can see, that at the moment, Mark's got the image up half size. It's not taking up the full screen, but yeah. Obviously, everybody knows what you see is a gecko. What I'm liking about the gecko that she's pretty close in, but there's a branch on his top eye is actually sticking over. That's sort of a bit distracting for me in the shot.
Yeah.
And I think with the setter being really wide open with this one, because I believe I'm not quite sure if she shot it with macro, 90mm macro. I don't have that information. But if she has stopped down a bit and get more depth of field on basically to the head down towards to the neck, and get more detail and texture of the skin, and as you can see, the head is actually level with this crack in the timber, in the wood or something like that. So it's probably the bottom part of where the timber is a bit distracting, where it's a bit lighter, and it's sort of taken my eye away from the subject. And the crop could have been just a bit more higher above his head.
Yeah, we got the head cut off a little bit there.
Yeah. So other than that, I like the colours. Yeah. But I might hang on if I bring this zoom out a bit in this, Mark, and
yeah, you can probably do that on your screen.
Yeah, if I bring it up a bit more. Now I can see it a bit better, but the eye is sort of just a tad out of focus. But other than that, it's not a bad image. So what do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I don't mind the image. I just the one thing I'm seeing is that that little bit of grass, that dried up stem of grass, crossing over onto the head of the gecko. I would have wanted to see a little bit more of the body. Like it could have been zoomed out a little bit more. I think, yeah, it was just Sharon. I think Sharon was trying to get a little bit too close with the 90mm in this instance.
She just said that it was the 100-400.
Oh, sorry, 100-400.
Yeah.
So you could have just maybe stepped back a little bit and just gotten a bit more of the gecko.
Yep.
Yeah. It just yeah. Are we sharp on the eye? We are.
Not really. No, not what I can see on this 27-inch.
So where was it focusing on? It looks like it's focused on the log. See where the crack is on the log, and it's actually
the eye is sort of it's sort of focused on the crack of the log, but his eye is sort of in the same focus plane, but it's just a bit soft. Yeah. But that's not the matter. I mean, so it's still on a pretty good image overall.
Yeah. No, well done, Sharon. They're very hard to shoot anyway. I mean, they move fast. It's just, I mean, it's one of those things where you gotta react fast to these insects, animals, reptiles.
Yeah. So the next shot of Sharon sent in to me. Now I believe this is Sharon's daughter doing the first time maternity shoot. I'm hoping that's what she told me, if I'm correctly. Actually, I do not. I don't mind this image. I quite like it. It's very environment friendly, because you can see the location where she is. The lighting on her is quite good. I do actually like the light coming down on front, and the style of how she's got her looking side on. Only thing is that yes, because she's sort of leaning forward on her head, her face is going into shadow. Other than that, I mean, yeah, pretty. You got the daffodil lighting happening on the rocks, and what I probably would have done is tone the background down a bit, and then put a radio mask over her, and bring her back out, so expose her a bit more.
Oh,
So
okay,
she-
yeah.
yeah. And sort of make it pop more away from the background. And you could even done a shadow fill under her face, and just bring some of the shadows out a bit more, and even that out a bit more.
Yeah,
You can-
exactly. Sharon was
Yeah.
just saying, could I life the face with a brush? And yes,
Yeah.
you could. You could
Yeah.
actually
That's
run a
right.
brush over it, or you can use the, just basically just burn a little bit more color into her,
Yeah.
and bring the light up a bit more on her. Also, am I seeing that the land, the grass? See what I'm seeing in the background? There are the trees.
Yep.
Is that running downwards, sort of on an angle?
It is sort of running down a bit wet, so you're going to have to be careful when you're doing horizons in the background, and make sure it's leveled. And one thing I do like that she hasn't made the common mistake with other people to do in portraiture is having a tree sticking out the back of their heads.
Yeah.
So she avoided that. That's really good. I'm glad that didn't happen. But the horizon could have been straightened a bit more. Even though the trees do look like they're pretty well straight, but if you look at the right side to the left side, that sort of does look a bit crooked. I mean, the land could have been like that, as far as I know, but I wasn't there to see with my own eyes. So, but other than that,
So it's a radial mask Brett was
Yeah.
talking about.
yeah, radio mask, yeah, pretty much the same as a pen or your grad filter, but it's circled. So,
So we're talking about basically Lightroom when we're talking about editing. We just because most people have got Lightroom, so we'll just sort of stick to
yeah.
the vocab of what Lightroom uses.
But I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good colour. But I would have just turned down the background just a tad. Because you got to remember when you're looking at photos, that the first brightest part of the scene is that's where your eye's going to go straight to. But I do like where she is, just that the head was down, unfortunately, because the sun's coming down there. So you just need to fill in the shadows in the face a bit more.
Yeah.
So,
Very
okay, very good. We go on to our next one, eh?
Yep.
Yep.
What have you got? Any more, Brett? Or
Yeah, I got one more.
yep,
Yeah.
go for it.
I don't know what happened to the other one, but I'll bring this one up first. I probably got the other one. There was another one that of her maternity suit with her daughter.
Sure.
But I'll just bring this one up in here first.
Oh, the bird. Yes.
The bird. Now this is actually stunning, Sean. Well done. This is probably one of the best
Nice
images
shots,
I've
hasn't it?
seen
Yeah.
in action of a bird in flight, but the only problem is that what's happening is that the image is a bit overexposed. I think the ISO was really too high.
Yeah.
So if the whole thing was toned down a bit on the exposure, toned down, and the only thing is that sort of really distracts me with this is the background is way too busy.
Yeah.
The bird sort of gets lost in there. There is separation between the bird and the background, but the background itself is just overwhelming, and it's sort of not your eyes sort of not really going to the bird. It's sort of going all over the place.
Yeah.
it's fantastic that the actual red in the bird's eye, it was actually spot on. That's really good. So if it wasn't overexposed a bit in the foreground on the bird and the background, if you darken the background a bit more to be less distracting, and just get the exposure down a bit more so you can start to see more detail in the whites of the feathers and so forth, and in the background. What do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah, sorry guys, I can't bring up the comments because they're dropping behind the actual image.
Oh,
so
yep.
We just have to talk about the comments as we go, Brett.
Yep.
But yes, you are right with the background, because the bird has got a lot of green in it, and it's sort of like it's blending in. It's almost like it's camouflaged into the background. What you can do, Sharon, is you can try and drag out or clear out the green. So drop the green tone a bit, just to bring a bit more color back into the bird, and the foreground becomes more important. Also, the red eye, I probably enhance that a little bit more again. I'll probably make that even more red. But this is just me. This is just what I'm thinking. And I would probably try and bring your highlights down a little bit, because you've blown out a little bit on the birds, on the bird's back there, and just behind the head, along the wings. But overall, I mean, technically, this is a beautiful picture artistically, capturing a bird in this stage, with the wings open. It just well done, Sharon, and also well done to the A9 as well, because it's a great tool to be able to do this.
And I'm thinking she obviously shot this to 100-400. So I'm not quite sure what the light was. It looked very bright, but having the ISO up really grainy. I'll just see if I can zoom in a bit.
Sharon is just saying that she thinks that the shot is actually, or the actual shot is much darker. Was having trouble with posting dark images. I'll try to post it as it was later.
But then again, we're looking at a JPEG image here too.
Yeah.
So, and all these images that we've seen are JPEG only. Until we can find another way how we can get some, say, raw images or higher resolution into Lightroom for better viewing. But anyhow, you can see there's a bit of noise and that happening. And so forth. But look, other than that, I wouldn't really be disappointed, because actually you can go back into Lightroom and try and do another re-edit. And and like Mark was saying, if you tone down the background and the greens and all the background, even though there's some of the colors are in the foreground and plus the bird. But you can actually do a mask on the bird and just keep all that separate, and then you can actually
darken the background a fair bit.
And that's the way to do it. It's a bit of work, but it's well worth seeing what you can come up with.
The image is great. I mean, when I look at the claws and everything on the talons on the bird, they're ultra sharp. It's really a very sharp image.
Yeah. So well done, Sharon. I like this, I really do. So
well done.
I'll just see if I can go back. Yeah, this one. This is one I missed before. Okay. Back to the maternity shoot. I actually quite like this one. Again, this one is a bit underexposed. Now, you've got the natural sunlight coming. There's a highlight on her leg, on inside leg here, that's sort of taken my eye off down there instead of up here, because there's no lighting on her face. If there would have been, if you see in the foreground of this rock down below, that's where the light was. If she had it moved forward, if there was room for her to sit down, and have her almost into the light, like her face almost.
Yeah.
Depending on how harsh the light was, it might have been. I don't know. It's very hard to tell that when you're not there on the day.
Yeah. So at this stage, you almost go into strobe or flash photography era. You know, where you actually want to get a bit more light onto her, like even a reflector.
Yep.
I would say that would have been good. Yeah, but shuffling forward, there was. Yeah, you can see there's a strip of light there that could have helped you a lot, Sharon, as well. But yeah, well, again, well done.
Yeah, so I do like the pose. Actually, the arm could have been positioned a bit more differently. If you might have been a bit more upright or
a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, she does look relaxed, but I suppose, yes, I know that she's pregnant, but posing is never easy, and especially trying to get a pregnant woman to pose properly. And if anybody's done any modelling themselves, it's not easy. It can be very hard work to do posing for a photographer, and So I hope that sort of give you a bit of insight there, Sharon, and I know this was your first time you done. You normally don't do portraiture and that so forth. So, but yeah, I'm liking it, and it looks like the eyes were sharp too. If I zoom in a bit here, see what's going on. It's a bit soft. But anyhow. What do you reckon, Mark?
Well, I don't have all the details of the actual shutter speed, but it looks it looks like the shutter could have been a little bit faster, and you could have gone a bit more in the ISO. But it's a good it's a good picture. You just have to bring up the concentrate on what needs to be highlighted, like the face of your daughter. Bring that more into the light. That's what we want to see.
Yeah. But no, I mean, look, you keep doing these sort of shots, and you learn from when you get back to your computer and you see the results and so forth. And you learn. So. A lot of people will just go out and shoot, and they look at the back of the camera thinking they got the shot. But technically, when you look at the back of the camera, you're actually seeing a JPEG image. You're actually seeing a RAW. Yeah. So don't ever think that you got the shot by looking at the back of the camera.
Always look into the EVF and check it again before you leave the site, because you'll regret it later if you haven't done it. So, Brett, is that the last picture that you were going to bring up?
Yep.
Because I'm having technical difficulties with your side Skype for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, we have to shuffle through it anyway.
You did mention that. Yeah. Okay.
So Sharon says, "Thanks, guys. All great info."
No problem.
And. And Riz says that we are a very demanding bunch. Oh, look, I mean, we're trying to be honest, but we don't want to be too critiquey, because we want to encourage photographers to take pictures and take as many as you can, but every image needs to improve. Obviously, you can't just keep on taking snapshot after snapshot, because that's not what we do. We always... We are our worst critiques. We look at our images and critique our images constantly. So, there's not many pictures that I like. It's just one of those things. And, so Sharon says, all great, image, great info.
And,
thanks for creating.
You're going to have trouble sharing your images that you're about to CC, or what? Is it going to do the same thing?
No, I think I will be okay from here. I think it was just something with your software. It was just really strange that I couldn't
Okay.
control it from this side. I couldn't bring us our images, our cameras up on the side. It just wouldn't work.
I'll
Anyway,
have to
that's something
blame
that we have to
Skype.
worry about another time.
I'll
Okay,
have to
let's go
blame
straight
Skype.
into more critiquing. I should bring up the details of these images, and this is whose picture is this, guys? Anyone?
I can't remember. I need to.
I'm just going to scroll down and find it for him. So this is funny. We are having a lot of hiccups here tonight.
Even Facebook's playing up right now.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. We're just having a lot of issues with the internet, especially. It's just really strange. Okay. Well, I'll go into critiquing and I'll mention whose picture this is afterwards. How does that sound? Brett?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So.
Well, you can start critiquing. I'll find it. Okay.
Absolutely. Let's do this. Oh, that's great. Okay, so this image, I pretty much like it. With kookaburras, it's always a problem of actually getting them in the right height, where you are in eye level, where you can actually see these birds and they're looking straight at you. When they're looking down, sometimes it's not very pleasing because it's sort of like it's an upshot, and I understand it's hard to get these birds on the right level. The other thing is also when I'm seeing this kookaburra, I can see there is the. Hang on, I'm just gonna click on this.
By the way, this is Az's shot. He's in the chat.
Okay, Azza, congratulations. That's a great picture, but I'm just still going to critique you. There you go. Okay, so as you can see here, the eye of the bird is lit, which is great, but we haven't got any light coming into the bird's eye on that side. Now, when you do shoot birds and animals, you want to make sure that you have got a catch eye in the animal's eyes, because we got to make sure that it's not a doll, but it's actually a live creature. So anything that's live, if you haven't got a catch light in the eye, it will look dead. So we need to make sure that is okay. The other thing is, as much as people like having don't like having blown out skies, like around here, etc. I don't mind them because I like having a bit blown out skies, and again with birds, you're always shooting into the light, so you're shooting into the sky, etc. And with birds, it's better to have a blown out background rather than letting the bird suffer, because the bird, you want to be able to show everything about the bird and the feathers and all the details, etc., making sure everything is there. So that I don't mind that. What I can see here, Brett, though, is there is a bit of dead space. Now, this dead space here, I'm talking about around this area here, roughly. So this space here, you could just you could probably crop away, and because it's distracting to the bird. So that's one little thing. Now sorry, Brett.
I totally agree, but in that particular shot, I think on the right hand side, it sort of gives him more green and more frame as well. So there's two ways looking at that as well. So I just thought I'll let you know. Bring that up. Anyhow, yep.
See, sometimes walking around the bird, like if you move over that way a little bit, and then just sort of like just keep on moving until you and keep on looking into the camera until you get this bird in the right position. Usually kookaburras hang around there for a while. Also, it's really interesting to know that kookaburras are kingfishers, so they always hang around lakes and water areas where they actually dive into the water. If no one has ever seen that, it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Trying to capture that will be a great shot. Yeah, and then we've also got and there's not much you can do about this Azza. You got that leaf underneath there. You could workshop it, Photoshop it out. This part here doesn't worry me much. It's just all about having that clean image of the bird and displaying the bird in all its glory. Yeah. What do you think, Brett?
Okay. One is the you were talking about the highlights being blown out, and obviously this is one of those sort of genres. It's very hard to control that because we're shooting up in the sky, and most of the time it's going to be very, very hard to control that. And like you said before, Mark, finding a bit of time and finding a different angle and another viewpoint. Even if you found, when you look at the bird, try and find some more tree cover behind or something like that. See how
foliage.
that. But if but then that can lead you to another problem, is like Sharon's bird, where there was too much foliage behind the bird and can get too busy. So when it comes to the bird photography, it's almost like doing a portraiture, but of birds. So you really want the background to make them pop, and it's almost trying to get a 2D image into a 3D image as well. So the only thing I would have done, is trying to find a different angle. Obviously the bird was watching you, Azza, and it must have been pretty interested in you because he's got his feathers up on his head. I find that you don't often see, well, you do see him, but you've got to get him at the right time when they're actually doing that as well, the feathers standing up. So, yes, I would have done a tighter crop. I mean, I can see the frame to the right and the ground going from the right over the top and around to his right. I mean, you could have, I suppose, in another way, if you like that shot and then do a 1-to-1 crop on the bird and see what that would look like, and just trying to get him to come out. The other thing is that the dark side where the eye you can't see is just appeared into the shadows. You can probably get a bit of brush work and just sort of open the shadows slightly, just to see if you see a little sparkle in the bird's eye. So
I mean, composing a bird is always hard because you seem to always have in your mind, you always think, well, I've only got seconds literally to get this image. And what I usually do, as I approach the bird, I'm already taking pictures of the bird. As I get closer, it becomes a bonus, but I also don't want to get too close to unnerve the bird. There are a lot of birds that actually, I mean, wildlife as such, you shouldn't approach to that degree where it actually makes them flinch and they want to run off. So you've got to be very careful that you do that if you do that. Whereby, I mean, if you shoot kookaburras, they're very used to humans, and they're very safe up there in the tree, so it's not too bad. But or again, standing back a little bit further and getting the shot also brings the bird down a little bit in your view, so you will actually, it will look more like the bird is on eye level to you rather than if you're standing right under the bird and shooting upwards. So sometimes standing back is can be better. And Mike Palmer is in here in house. So there you go.
Welcome, Mike.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, Mike. A 1-to-1 crop, vertical crop. So that turns it into a portraiture. But yeah, I mean, there's several ways you can do that. If you want to follow by the third of rules, so forth. So
well, I hope that helps, Azza, because I mean it's one of my little hobbies that I actually shoot birds as well. I mean, with my camera, not with any gun or anything, but it's it's a well taken shot. I mean, it's very pleasing. I like the bucka balls in the background. And you've shot this wide open, obviously, without having a look at your details. Okay, so how you go, Mike? Mike is saying hello. And I will move over to the next image.
Hi, Mike. Yeah. So he's sitting there doing some post for the day. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So
right,
here we go. Azza's picture again. So we're spoiling Azza tonight, and Sharon, by the sounds of it. Okay, so right now with this image, what I could see was, and again, good shot, Azza. You know, like it's you've got a really good character shot here with this dog. Obviously, this seems to be your dog, obviously. And as I look at this image, I can see that you had focus on the nose, and the eyes are a bit blurry. So it's so you got to be very careful when you're shooting animals that you get the eye focused. With newer cameras, you can go into animal eye AF and fix that up. And because I'm thinking this dog was innate, it was basically lying there, you could have maybe shot the image in manual as well, and get the focus right on the eye that way, or use spot focus on the eye. That's just a few tips. Now with white coat on the dog, you always have to be careful that you don't blow the coat out too much, and it is a bit bright up in this area here, so you could have maybe just bring that down and do a bit of editing there to fix that up. But apart from that, I think it's a good character picture. You know, like I can't see any if you zoom out a little bit, you give the dog a little bit more space, so you could have stepped out a little bit more rather than making it too tight. But this is your taste, and you wanted to be in that tight, and it's nothing wrong with it. And you're still in the when you look at this, you can actually see that you are in the 2/3 area there with the dog's eyes. So that's good as well.
I'm pleased that you got both of his front paws in the shot. You haven't clopped off the other foot that's hanging over the boardwalk. So that's really good. And
as I say, he's living the life I want to live.
So I agree with Mark. If you would have stepped back or zoomed out a bit more, zoomed in. Not zoom in, zoomed
go for
out.
it, Riz. If you got any tips, go for it.
I think he was shooting with the 24-105. That's the Canon lens. I believe he's shooting with the OS 6D, Canon 6D. So look, good shot. And then I'm not really quite sure what the focusing's like on the Canons. I've never shot with Canons. I had to go with a XD1, the flagship, but the eyes. You got to be very careful with any portraiture of dogs, animals, people. eyes is the most important thing. So yeah, like Mark said, if you need it to go into manual and just get that little focus a bit more back from the nose and go back in a bit more, those sort of things can be very tricky. But
Yeah.
other than that, beautiful picture, mate. Beautiful
Yeah.
dog, and he was looking very lazy.
I'm just having a look at the background again. Yeah, I mean you could neutralize the green a bit, and again that would highlight the dog more. So, I mean the green in the background is not all too important. I would still leave some green in, but just up the top here, this triangle is what I'm talking about. That you could maybe just neutralize that a bit and just suck a bit of color out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about it. You know, like I mean, I'm enjoying that picture.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
And the other thing, I think one more thing is, I think Sharon said, yeah, you could have bring the shadows just out a bit more to just bring his eyes out a bit more. I mean, I can see the shine on his eyeball. Is there a bit of shine on his other eyeball, lower one?
yeah.
There, I can't really quite see it, but anyhow. But other than that, no. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if I can actually, I can zoom in a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I would probably maybe, if you want to go into all this detail, you can probably just clean up those three hairs, those white hairs there.
Yep.
You know, so that's only just, you know, if you want to futz around with images like these and do a little bit more work on them, there's always more stuff that you can actually do.
He's actually asleep. You can't see his eyes. So there. Or am I just saying that wrong?
I think he's looking.
Okay.
He's looking.
Okay.
It's just the look of the dog, just very loose skin. I actually borrowed the Canon from a mate when I was looking at starting in photography. I wasn't very familiar with it, so yeah. But you've got a Sony now, Azza, so that's all good. So it's all everything's moving forward from here. No,
there you go.
Really,
As I said,
it doesn't really matter what camera you've got these days. I mean, you can take amazing shots.
I love those dogs. Need to get him standing up and then put a barrel on his neck. Okay, what's our next one? Because
and Mike is asking, as are you shooting Sony now? And yes, he is. We've got some pictures from Azar where he's got. And let's get into the next one. I've got a few more here. And
we're coming up to nearly an hour, mate.
That's it.
In the show, yeah.
Loving it. So here we are. We've got Azar shot, and now with this image, Azar, you got to tell us what you were shooting. There was a person under the tree. Was that person under the tree relevant, and or was the bridge relevant? I know you. I'm guessing. I can only guess that you were trying to get some leading lines happening. In the with the pedestrian railing, and the shadow casting over the pedestrian railing, but. Yeah, apart from that, I'm struggling here a bit. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, I'm trying to find where is the subject. What are you trying to convey in the image to your viewer? Yeah, I mean, if Mark hadn't said there was a guy down there in the blue, I didn't actually see that. So I'm looking on a very small screen here off the side, so I can't really see what Mark's showing in his screen. But look, I do like the leading lines of the fence on the left-hand side, and leading down, and the story bridge sort of crossing over top.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
see, shots like these, you probably want to do them in the evening when the bridge lights up, and even with more cloud, a bit more drama in the sky.
I think you're right. Yeah, because I was just about to say that you would need to do that in the afternoon or the morning, where you got more dramatic light, and and there's no cloud in the sky. You got the sun there, sunburst, but and a bit of flaring going on. Well, that's cloud, I think. Yeah, it looks like cloud.
Yeah, it's
I
a bit
thought
cloud. Yeah, got a couple of puffs there.
So, look, if it was in the afternoon, sunrise, sunset, that would have made a very different shot. Yeah,
you should come with us on the next photo walk, Azza. There's one coming up next month, obviously. And what I'll do is I'll go on to the next shot here, and we have got a picture that is not Shaz's and not Azza's picture. Okay, so this is Lily's picture. Good on you, Lily. Astrophotography, it's always interesting, and there's so many things that you got to obviously look out for when you're taking astro, and you obviously always want to have something in the foreground that you can actually scale the image with, and it makes more sense, and it doesn't just look like a starry blur. Now, what I've seen straight away is the landscape, because you can't really do too much more with the astro stars, and I'm just seeing that the line of the land is a bit crooked. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm a bit of a stippler for lines, for levels, so you've got a bit of straightening out to do, unless this was meant to be like that, or you couldn't shoot it any other way. Straightening out the land is probably important. And it is a bit bright on the horizon here, and you've also got power lines going across. So these are all the things that you need to watch out for. But I do understand that sometimes there's just no other way out. I mean, you got either you shoot you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, shooting the power lines. What about you, Brett? What do you think about this image?
Yeah, well, I actually do like the composition, and the tree line doesn't sort of bother me that it's not actually level, because if you look at the fence line, they look pretty much straight up and down, and I do like the fact that the shadows are a bit more darker, because the highlight of the clouds coming just underneath the star galaxy core there.
There's a bit of cloud cover.
I don't think I've seen such an image like that. But the core, the galaxy core, that's very, very intense. So I think the white balance is a bit off with the core though, because it's missing magentas and stuff like that, and the blues, and to give that dimension of the Milky Way some dimension to it. But there would have been bits of magenta and purples and that flowing, and browns and reds that you would normally see in the galaxy, the Milky Way, and bring those colours out, and it would make it a bit more dimensional.
So Lily shot this with the 16 to 35 f4. Congratulations, Lee, on that lens. It's a good lens. I actually lent that lens off Brett the other day. Settings at 16mm, ISO 1600, f4 30 seconds. Tips on editing astrophotography. There, you got any tips that you can give Lily about astro?
Well, fantastic that you can actually use the f4 Zeiss lens for astro. it just proves that you don't need a G Master to get that quality. I mean, you can still get it quite easy. The other night when we were at Mount Cooper, I was getting scars over Brisbane.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was light pollution. Same in this shot. You could see the light coming off the clouds and that, and she was still managing to do that. It is a bit tricky to do to get the major top part of the frame is dark and more bluey, or depends on your color taste. You know, if you want a bit more bluey or black contrast.
I'm just trying to work out, Lily, if you can let us know whether or not this is, if you shot this in JPEG or RAW, because you were saying that the image came out very blue. I'm just trying to work out if you had your white balance set to the wrong white balance.
Yeah.
And it's gone really blue, like a tungsten setting.
She's managed to bring the stars out pretty well, you know, and it just needs some black, and drop the black down a bit. Go into your white slide and bring the black down, but do a grad filter over the top, so you're not affecting the bottom half of the screen, and mess around with the black slider a bit and bring it down and put that bit more. The other thing you can actually use is the dehazer tool. So if you move the dehazer over a bit, it might actually bring that darkness in a bit more and help you bring the stars out to where they are.
I mean, of course, I'm not in Lightroom or anything like that, and I can't make adjustments, so we can't really show you how we would make any changes. But I would definitely go deeper and try and get as much detail out of this image as I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what do you say about the foreground here, Brett? Now, I think it's brighter than the evening was. What I would have tried to do is, as you can see here, you actually got the branches above the tree line.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to maybe go down even further and get more of the branches looking up. So as you crouch down or you've got a lower angle of view, and then you'll be shooting upwards into the tree line a bit better and get a bit more of those branches, because I quite like that, having these twisty dead branches there. It's pretty, I think.
I do like the foreground. I mean, there's a big stump on the right hand side too. I actually do like that, and not quite making out in the middle of the frame, above the center post face. It looks like a cliff or something, or is that a dead branch, dead tree? But look, there's a lot of detail in there.
Yeah, that's like a cliff, like a.
Yeah, it looks like a cliff in that.
Yeah.
But right, Lily? And but anyhow, look, I do like that. I don't think I would have brought the shadows out even more, because the star of the
hard
show.
to say if it's is that a lit up tree or something? It's just really.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it looks like a lit up tree. Yeah. But I think the nature of this shot is not really about the foreground. This is really, the foreground is more getting a foreground instead of just a whole image of the Milky Way. You need a foreground. The power lines, well, there's not much you can do about that. Look, I try to avoid a lot of power lines in landscapes, but I think in this case the power lines sort of give it a bit more reality. So that yes, we're it's a constant reminder, like the fence line here. Yes, there's life on this.
Lily was saying it was so dark she couldn't even see the see with the phone torch on. So it so maybe she missed the power lines, or so it was a very dark area there. Yeah, and that straight away gives you a good idea to actually you do astrophotography. Always bring a torch with you and be well lit, so you know what you're doing.
But if you're one of these sort of people that don't like the power lines, if you know your Photoshop pretty well, Photoshop can get rid of it really quickly. So but if you're one of those sort of people that want to remove things out of an image, there's sometimes that you don't want to do that, and there's sometimes that you got to do it because it's either just distracting of the there's really no right or wrong.
So Lily was also saying that she was getting distracted by dogs and all that from the B&B where she was staying. So, yeah.
It's up to you, Lily. Up to you. You can have the power lines in and that. I don't. Really, they don't take... The power lines not taking my eye away from it because like I said, mentioned about highlights. Highlights is the first thing your eye will see in an image.
Yeah.
And it's which is the clouds, but the galaxy is much brighter than the clouds itself.
Yeah.
So your eyes are going to go straight to the brightest part of the image.
Just seeing what
Yep.
So 30 seconds, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next picture. 2 more, guys, and then we'll get back into our normal show. Okay, so this is a picture that Nico so it's Nico Ford who took this picture. Nico, if you are here, this is your picture. And if you're not, you will see it always in the replay. Okay, now shall I start, Brett, with this?
Yep.
Okay. Beautiful baby, by the way.
Yeah.
And very confident eyes. Very nice looking and happy. Okay. Now I've just got a bit of critique to do here, where my eye keeps going to it, and I guess it goes to your eye too, Brett, where we got this line happening here. Obviously this dark area here, and obviously goes down. So we got all this difference in color. So it's basically playing games with my eyes, and I'm always going back and forth to compensate. So it actually distracts from the baby, and there's ways of actually photoshopping that out. It's a no problem job to do that, and if you want to fix it up, easy way. There's also the what is it, mum's face or granny's face or someone's face in the picture here, and that needs some editing as well, because it's a distraction again. The third thing that I'm seeing in this picture is also that baby's finger is cut off, so the little pinky is missing down here. So we need to always make sure when you're taking pictures of humans, etc., always have a look around the edges of your in your viewfinder, and make sure everything is in the picture. Very important, as much as the background is as well. Now when I look at this, I don't mind that the face on the baby's right is nice and lit up. It's actually a nice warm color, and I've got no problems with that. And also there's you got catch lights in both eyes, which is good too. If anything, I would probably brighten up the face or brighten up the eyes a little bit more, because I'm like an eye person, and I like to see the beautiful colors in baby's eyes. And as you can see, that it's sort of like is it a green or a tealy looking color? Yeah. So it's beautiful. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, I sort of agree with the foreground, mum or nana, one of the two, and the lady in the background there. It's a bit more. The only other thing you can probably done with that is put a bit of a vignette around the whole image and sort of ground, and that way will bring the baby out a bit more. I do like the colour toning. I don't know if he's colour graded here. It looks like he did. But the top colour, the teal, is actually sort of matching with the bench side of the kitchen bench there, and the windows with the blue light coming through the windows, and the actual colours from the is it tan orange, sort of matching with the floor. That sort of earthy looking colours and all that as well. So there's a bit of combination of those colours mixing with the baby's clothes, with the teal in the back end and so forth. Just put a bit of more of a vignette around the whole area. And I probably would have put a bit of a radial filter on the baby, and just sort of bring the shadows out of the eyes a bit more. Other than that, it's not bad. It's pretty good. So yeah, well done.
Yeah, very good shot there, Nico. So we'll just move on to the very last one, and we're doing a full circle. Brett, we're going back to Azza's picture.
Yep.
Ooh. Don't save that. And everything is going really smooth tonight. About as smooth as you can get it. Okay, so this is Azza's picture again, and congratulations, Azza, good shot. And here we can see the, obviously what Azza was after was a motion blur.
Yeah.
And we are just ever so slightly off. And Azza, you probably know this, or you might have done this on purpose. I'm not 100% sure, but if you look at this part here on the zebra crossing, and this part here on the zebra crossing, it's unfortunately the car is not 100% in the center, which would have been much better. Also, what you could have done is you could have cropped in a little bit more. You could have actually gone into this kind of crop where the taxi is left out. You still got the building in shack, but it's sort of like it focuses even more on the actual on the car and the building. Apart from that, there's no real big problem. The car is sharp, as sharp as you can get it with these kind of images. I mean, you do want a bit of motion in the car, so you can actually see that it's still in movement, but it's still stopped, if that makes sense. You could have dragged the shutter a little bit more. So I think this was shot at 1/30th of a second.
Yeah, 1/30.
Yeah, so it's I've got not much more to say about it, Brett. I mean, what do you think about it?
I definitely agree. The shutter speed could have dropped more. The ISO could have been dropped down to 50, unless you had a variable density filter to cut down a bit more light, so you can drag the shutter more.
Yeah.
Was he actually shooting at 2.8? I probably would have
Yeah, it's
taken
2.8.
it. Yeah, I would have
134
taken
second
it
ISO,
F4.
100 f11.
Yeah, I would have bought the.
Oh, sorry, f11.
Yeah, was it F11?
F11, yeah.
Oh, F11. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
2.8 lens.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you would definitely need a variable ND filter to cut down more light, so you can drag that shutter speed down a bit more. The only thing that sort of worries me here, the building. If you look at the roof line, it's going a bit of an angle. The car and the white crossing lines look really straight, But if you look how the way, if you got to be careful with shots like this, because you got to remember you got a building that's representing your horizon at the back, and if you're not like facing square on to that building, that's where you're going to have that problem of it looked like your image is crooked. So I would actually crop into the second white line from the bottom and crop to the top of just the top of that roof. And I'm not worried about the taxi or anything like that, but also too, if you really love the shot and cropped it out the way I just said, you can do a bloody little trick in Photoshop. You can actually speed that up. There's a little tip there I saw recently how you can do that, and it's quite easy actually. So
if you dig a bit, Azza, you'll see corrections, and you can actually do motion blur in Photoshop fairly easy these days.
Yeah. But other than that, no, I mean, you've got to try these things out. If you don't try them, you're not going to learn. And it's good to see you having a crack at it. And so,
And that's what it's all about, like, I mean, trying this sort of stuff out. I'm just thinking, Riz was saying if that she would have panned this picture, but at 1/30th of a second, Riz, this picture was actually panned, but I think what Riz is trying to say is that it needed more panning, so you need to drag the image a bit, or so the shutter speed a little bit better, so maybe even at 1/20th of a second, maybe. And then just, but you got to be ultra still, because if you do panning, you got to be careful that you don't shake your camera up and down, because you will actually get blurring, upwards blurring, up and down blurring, and you'll actually shake the buildings a little bit. So what the buildings are supposed to have blur going that way. So just be careful with how you hold the camera. So you've got to have it really close to your body, and try and pan very close. So the actual panning motion is horizontal and hasn't got any vertical movement at all for this kind of picture.
I'm assuming that the lens that he was using 17-28, that's a Tamron lens. So I'm not quite sure. I don't think they got the panning switches like the Sony's G and GM got. So that would help a lot too if that particular lens had those settings.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, this is what this sort of technique is all about. Trying it again and having another go at it.
Yeah.
And like for instance, Riz does all this car racing business, and she's constantly panning and trying to get cars in motion. It is an interesting, and it's again, it's you got to there has to be a bit of luck in it, and also you gotta keep on practicing to get the right technique going.
This is all the part of the learning process when you go out and do these things. And
Absolutely.
time you come back to your computer and you go onto and look on the big screen, and it all comes to you and tells you the results, and you would know straight away if something worked or not. Yeah. So, but it's all, I mean, you can imagine how many Mark and I have shot over the years, and we it didn't always come back from a trip or a shooting of the day that we got something in the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
I mean, if you see pictures like these pan pictures and they're often too good to be true, they usually are. They've been stopped at a high shutter speed and then basically photoshopped. So it is sometimes hard to sort of separate these two these two genres when you go into editing and then you do that sort of stuff, and then you put the picture up and it looks amazing because it's perfect. It's a picture perfect. Yep. And sometimes seeing pictures like these, I mean, if you would touch it up too much or get it too perfect, then it would look fake to me.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Okay, I think we need to keep moving because we're about going in 1 hour and a half.
Okay, Brett. So let's get us back in here into our show. So, guys, I hope that helped everyone, and that's the end of the critique. And please let us know. Comment in the box and let us know exactly if we were spot on, or if you guys saw some other stuff in there that it was not right and we were not fair, or I don't know whichever way. But this is just to help people out, and so they can actually see some ways of improving images. There's no right and no wrong, but to everyone, well done, and thank you very much for letting us critique your images. It's an honor, almost. So it's very happy about that.
Considering we never really thought about doing this. But thank you, for those that have submitted their photos and that, and
totally.
Like Mark said, it gave us a bit more, I suppose, more input for you guys that to see what we thought of from our perspective.
And again, guys, sorry that we couldn't put all the pictures up and couldn't get to all the images. There were a few more, but as you can see, all this sort of just it takes up time critiquing, and we are a live show, so we just got to move on with our next bits and pieces, and we're already an hour and a half into the show. And Riss is saying that she's L plates, and it comes from motorsports photography. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, how about do you want us to talk about some news and images and stuff? I can bring up. Okay, so we were going to talk about Sony Tough Cards. Now, this is the Sony USA website. There is a replacement program for some SD cards, memory cards going on, and the seems. Do you want to maybe talk about this, Brett? You probably know more about this than what I do.
Well, first of all, I'm going to mention, if you go to the Sony Australian site, for those here in Australia, you need to go to the Australian site to deal with that side of, not the USA, but it's still pretty much the same, but they're just going to deal with it in different ways. First of all, I'm going to say that anybody that's using the latest Sony cameras, the latest series, A7 series, A9, and R4s. Technically, I had not heard much of actually ever going wrong with these cards in the Sony the cameras. I've been told that it's more of an issue for other cameras like Fuji, Panasonic, Canons, or whatever, using those cards. So if you're actually using other non-Sony cameras, I think, I would get them replaced with the cards that got the star next to it. But I use Sony tough cards myself, and I hadn't had a problem with them video or still. So I'm not really aware of anything that's been reported. Only from what I get feedback through my sources.
Yeah, and I wouldn't panic about these recalls, etc. But Sony is playing it safe, and if you do want to return cards, etc., you need to get in contact with them and talk with them directly. That's all we know. I mean, I've got tough cards myself, and so has Brett. But we are. I don't have any worries about returning cards, etc.
Yeah.
So it doesn't worry me too much.
Yeah.
Now, the next story here, Brett, what I'm reading now is the, just bring this up, this is the Fujifilm, the X-T4 has finally been released, and there's been a lot of YouTubers going around now and demoing how this this camera works. Now, guys, this camera has got a lot of what would you say, mechanical controls on it. So from what I understand, I've never really used the Fujifilm, so I can't really comment about the quality, etc. on these cameras, but they have got a lot of controls externally, so it's not how would you say, an electronically controlled camera rather than old style mechanically. So now the reason why I'm bringing this up, Brett, is because the there are choices obviously in the Sony lineup, and when you look at this is the A6600. It's still a strong camera in comparison to the X-T4. It is a smaller camera, the Sony A6600, and also it still competes with this Fuji. The Fuji has got 60 frames per second at 4K. But apart from that, I don't know. The focusing really gets me on the Sony. It is a better focusing camera still than the Fuji is, from all that I've seen on YouTube and the chatter that's been going around. It's still not quite there in comparison to the Sony. So, but it is a camera, and I'm not. I've never heard anything bad about Fuji cameras. I mean, they're good APC cameras, APS-C.
Yeah.
Cameras. Yeah. Now, also in the news is obviously the new Sigma, or not new, old. The 100 to 400 Sigma lens. It is only new because they've adapted the MC11 adapter and basically did the same job as what they've done on the on all their other previous lenses. The 135 was done updated this way, and the 105. So they've basically molded the MC11 adapter into the body. So this is a F4 to F5 to 6.3 at 100 to 400, and again it is tromboning. It's a tromboning lens.
Yeah.
But it's just in the hand. It just seems very lightweight and small. So yeah, something to look at.
I tried your 600 when you had a Sigma, didn't you?
Yeah, I had the
600.
150 to 600.
Yeah.
And I swapped that. I replaced that with the 200 to 600 Sony.
Yeah. That wasn't a bad lens either.
Yeah, and that was with the adapter, so I'm sure that sooner or later Sigma will bring out a Sony adapted lens, so you don't use the MC11 adapter anymore, and you can, because they're usually a Canon mount lens or Nikon mount, and now Sigma is finally coming around and pushing out the Sony mounts, which is great.
Yeah. They're doing some really good work bringing out these new lenses now.
Absolutely, yeah. It's look, I mean, there are a lot of, as I said in the last show, we've got a lot of choices nowadays, with lenses in the Sony lineup.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming down to this. This is something that I found really interesting, and there was, I think Mark Gaylor brought this up in a chat once, and not too long ago in one of the YouTube chats, and he had me scratching my head a little bit to know. I had to research it, and you too, Brett, as far as I understand. Okay, guys. Now, if no one knows about this, and basically that puts you in the same category as you, as me. Okay, so we're talking about dual native ISO, and you will see, for instance, and this is not just for the A7R4, you will see there is, in the graph, you will see there's a spike at about 350 ISO going sharply up. Now, what that means to us photographers is that if you are selecting in the range of 200 ISO, you are just as well better off going to 350 ISO, because you will, if you go beyond 200 down to say about 250 ISO, the spike goes downwards, so you are not at the optimum setting of your camera. So this is what is known as a dual native ISO, and this is even better for the A7 III.
The A7 III, yes.
Where the spike is around ISO 640.
Yeah, 640. Sorry,
640. So basically, as soon as you get to a certain range, what is the hop over? Somewhere around 250 ISO or so, and then you hop over to 600 odd, 640 ISO, and you will get better noise than
less
what you would.
Noise.
Less noise.
You get less noise from 640 ISO than you get from 400.
Yeah. So this might sound confusing, but it's just something that Sony built in, and this puts Sony ahead of Canon and Nikon users, actually, whereby if you know this and you want to shoot in low light, try 640 ISO or 360 on the A7R4.
R4, yeah.
And this also goes for the A9. A9 users will have the same outcome as the A7 III users, so you'll be better off shooting at 640 ISO 640.
Yep.
And the same goes also for A7R3 and R2 users, etc. So Yeah.
If you find yourself that in a situation of low lighting and you need to bump that ISO up, depending on how dark the low lighting is, and that, try and go with, if you got the A7 III, try and go to 640 first, and have a go, and then see what you. Then you got to work out what your shutter speed is to get the shot. If it's too slow, you'll have to go higher. Same with the R4. Setting it at 320. If you need a higher shutter speed, you're obviously going to have to raise your ISO. But if you can do with on those two settings on both of those cameras, you're going to get less noise. But have a go. There is a difference. I've done it on the weekend, and there's considerable less noise when you're in those two ranges.
And you also see that around, and this was not actually stated at all, but you will see around ISO 1000 to 20. Sorry, ISO 10,000 around there to 20,000. If you are going into that range, it actually levels off a slight bit as well. Down there on the bottom. So you can risk going from 10,000 straight away to 20,000 without much extra grain. But that's already getting a fair bit extreme when you go into those levels. So this could become a very good trick, for bird shooting, etc., and for just that, where you actually need the bump up in ISO, but you can actually bump it up a lot further, and you can skip graining your images. Now, I think, Brett, that's where a lot of people are complaining about the images actually getting having a lot of noise in them, because they probably are shooting with an A7R4. They're probably shooting around ISO 300 or something like that, and they're building up grain, whereby if they would go to ISO 640, they would be actually better off doing it that way.
Well, that's true. Look, like I've always said to people on the photo walks and the workshops, you really need to, when you go out and shoot, try different apertures, try different ISOs,
test it.
And do your minimum or do your maximum values, and out of all those shots, then you can evaluate how far you're going to push that camera to, how far you can get up to what, or I suppose you can tolerate what sort of noise that you will pass, and then you know your limitations, and that way, from there on, you know your boundaries, how far you can push those cameras. I've pushed the A7 from the A7 and the A7 II and III in days, and I still push them really as much as I can, and trying to get the dynamic range. I mean, it's nearly 15 stops in the A7R4 and the A7 III, and I think it was 14 stops for the A9, or both the same. 14. But but I mean, these cameras are getting so good. But
just
it's always
having a bit of knowledge in your pocket, guys, and knowing what your camera can do and can't do, and asking around. I mean, this is something I didn't actually even know, and I think Brett wasn't 100% sure about this neither. So it's just an interesting revelation there. So Sony has stuck something into our pockets that we didn't know about. So it's a bonus for us. So it's good.
I don't think I ever record. I'm pretty sure the 640 was always there in the Sony cameras, wasn't it? I believe. But I never even record actually using 640 ever. until for the last couple of days and last week.
Yeah, it's
So,
just an
yeah.
interesting little thing that we. And if anyone's got any questions about this, just feel free to ask myself or Brett in relation to it, and we'll sort
Well,
of
they
clear
can
it up a
always
little bit better.
they can always go to Mark Garland's website, and he's got
Yeah.
a video on that. So he
Hit
is
up Mark
actually
Galler
talking
about it.
about that. Yeah, he's actually talking about the dual ISO and that, and
Yep.
very.
From now on, we're
Yep.
just going to push all the questions onto Mark. Okay, so now just a little bit of we're coming to the end of the show, Brett. So I'm just going to
Yep.
bring this up, and this just is maybe a setting that some people, especially bird shooters, might want to know about. Where you actually go into a high key setting. As you may have listened when you listened into our critique, I mentioned this where you should consider highlighting the bird and blowing out the sky a little bit, and the bird is the subject. So if you want the full plume, all the feathers to show really well, you are basically shooting against the sky. So you basically want to go up. When you're in full manual shooting, go up by 1 to 3 stops in your exposure. You will blow out the sky, and you will blow out the highlights a bit, but you will get the bird correct. And again, it's another part of actually knowing your camera and knowing what you can shoot and what it's going to look like once you do it. But anywhere around 1 to 3 stops, and with practice you will learn what it takes to actually get bird in flights, etc. Especially where that comes to play. It comes into play. Otherwise, you will just have a very dark a shadow bird, and it's not going to work 100%.
Mark said that.
Use function link.
Yep.
Spot metering to spot focus, then +1 on yeah, you can do that. Well, see, because I've got the A9, I use tracking, so it works a little bit different. So you spot metering. Yeah. What do you think about these settings, Brett?
Well, if you're using a spot meter and to evaluate the brightest part of the scene, that is a very useful thing. But do you have time to do that? And when you're actually shooting birds, you really don't. So
yeah, it's really tricky. Birds in flight, I sometimes just go into full auto, but I have auto ISO.
Yeah.
And then use my compensation dial to compensate the light a bit.
Yeah.
It's just really tricky because if you got say an osprey or something like that, and you want to shoot that bird, first of all it moves around a fair bit, and it's flying over the coastline to find a fish, obviously, and then it dives into the water. And then it comes back up. So you gotta basically, as you're tracking this bird, the bird actually plunges into the water, and it goes from a bright horizon. It actually goes into the water level where it's darker. The actual water is darker than the horizon, and you need immediate compensation for that. Otherwise, you'll have a dark image.
Yeah.
So it is tricky. I mean, bird photography and wildlife photography is practice and more practice. There is no really good answer.
Yeah.
Just knowing your settings. A lot of bird photographers really customize their cameras, and the Sony camera is really made up for that, where you actually got a lot of custom buttons and you can do a lot of custom settings with it very fast.
Yep.
And again, Sharon says, yeah, I don't care about the sky, but I try to get the bird against foliage if I can. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but the thing is that you need to blur the foliage as much as you can, and make the bird the hero.
Yeah, that's right. You want, as much as you can blur that in, and and drown it out so that the main colours of the bird are not actually blending into that background. Yeah.
I mean, anyone that's interested in wildlife and bird photography, etc., you can always hit us up, and we can organize a one-on-one workshop, etc. I mean, again, I should bring this up again, Brett. We do workshops, etc. And if anyone wants a one-on-one workshop, we're more than welcoming to organize that and sort that out for you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. You're doing a plug-in, are you?
Sorry?
You're doing a plug-in.
A plug-in?
Workshop.
Oh yeah, sorry. This is my plug-in.
That just come out of the blue.
Unrelenting. While we're at the plug-in, Brett, I might as well bring up our group.
Yeah.
So these are Brett and my groups. You'll see the Sony Alpha Brisbane group and the Photographers Collective group on Facebook. So anyone that wants to join up, come in, and we're a little chatty group, and it's a good, happy lot, and healthy. It's a healthy group, and there's no slagging or anything like that going on. So come and see us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I was just having a bit of a laugh about Sharon, what she was saying. Yeah, blast at birds, they'll do whatever they please. They're like them top. So.
and thanks for the plug there, Michelle. Michelle came to a workshop with
in the studio.
She says it was a fantastic workshop. So yeah, great. And we're still learning as we go. So it's fantastic. I mean, we it's not only just that we do workshops. We also make a lot of friends during the workshops, and we always stay in touch as much as we can with the attendees, and making sure whatever they learn, they progress with it, and they make good use of it. And if they've got questions, they can always catch up with us about it.
That's right. Yep. And same with our Father Walks, and we find that we get a lot of people keep coming back, which is good. And we like to see more people come in and really get to see what really goes on and what other people get out of these, because they're not just getting to know us and getting tips and stuff like that, what we offer, but they're getting to meet other people, and you
Absolutely.
can get you get to meet new people that have the same interests as everybody else has, and hey, you might even find a shooting partner that you can go and shoot out. I mean, look,
we're always willing to, if people hit us up, we're always willing to consider whether or not we can go out there and shoot. Like it's asking is never a big problem. I do tend to go out on regular basis to shoot, either with Brett or with other people in the groups, etc. And asking is the first step forward into getting out there and doing it. Now I've got another video here, Brett.
Oh, okay.
Let's do a bit of advertising for Photo Walks, shall we?
Right.
And we'll come right back, guys.
Deep up in my feelings, here I go keep on repeating. Here we go again.
And there we are. That was very quick and hopefully tastefully done for people to actually come on and do photo walks with us. We're always happy to see everyone there. And next month is another photo walk, which it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so I saw what Sean was saying there. Come on, guys. Yeah, come on. When is it? Yeah.
It is being organised.
Okay.
Definitely happening.
Yeah.
Can't say too much. We've just got to wait for Sony to come back on us. Or on Brett, obviously not me, but Brett. Bring on July, says Riss.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So anyhow,
and Lauren is here as well. Hello, Lauren. Photo ride. How's that thing happening down there? Have you found yourself a pony down in Melbourne or what? Just get off my back. Find a pony down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And Sharon says she's got 2 ponies. We should do a photo shoot near your area there, Sharon. Sounds like you got a lot of wildlife happening over there.
Yep. Yeah.
Stupid Victoria's stupid. And no one is following the rules. So I don't know when I can fly back. I was hoping to come back for a photo walk. I told you about Melbourne. Melbourne is... Why do you want to go to Melbourne? No ponies here, says Lauren. But there are, if you look hard enough. I'm sure they actually got ponies there somewhere.
So, we are nearly, 6 minutes out, end of the show.
Yeah. And we're going to be finishing right on time, Brett. How's that?
Yeah, well, we did actually, we had to leave out a few things because of technical problems.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm very sorry about this, guys, because I've got to have a chat about that, Brett, and sort it out. But I think we covered just about everything that we actually wanted to cover on the show.
I guarantee you, if this Skype is the cause of the bloody problem, we'll have to arrange something else. Because,
it was really strange because as soon as I was actually putting you in, I was basically I couldn't move anything anymore. I was basically locked out.
Well, so, I know it's definitely not my mic, my new mic.
No, but you've got a new mic there, Brett. So tell us, what are you thinking about it? Are you liking it? I mean, the sound is coming very good from my ear.
Well, at first I had a few technical problems that I didn't know what I was doing at first, but I was getting, a few technical problems that didn't, at first it didn't, didn't really blow my mind, But as we dived into it and worked on it and fiddling around with the settings and that, I'm very happy with this and the way it's sounding.
It is. Your voice is sounding good, and it's actually called. You got to warm up the microphone. So it is a thing, So the microphone over time gets a deeper sound. So it's just a matter of just getting yourself
By the way,
do as much as possible.
We're not sponsored by Rode, but anyhow. But I'll let you know what it is. People would have seen it. It's
the pod mic.
A pod mic from Rode. This is about $50. You can buy this for, and you don't really need much ore to use it. So
Mike just said he is the new Mike.
Pod mic by Rode. If anybody's doing podcasting or live streaming and all that, everybody's been raving on. It's been out for over a year now, I believe. Mark, that's something there. So, but anyhow.
Well, that pod mic has actually just recently come out. I think it's being sold with. They created a bundle. I think you can get 2 microphones with the Rodecaster Pro deck, etc. So yeah,
I thought
I think Rode has just realised that you can actually do a lot of. There's a lot of people out there that are doing live shows and live podcasts and all that because they're stuck at home. So they're starting to, get in there and try and make as much money as they can. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, obviously, when you compare this to one of the Sciencer or the Pot Mic Pro, the one that goes with your podcast studio thing.
Yeah.
And that's more expensive. That's what, like $700 mic, comparing that to this.
Oh, look, I mean, the microphone that I've got here, you can just see the top of it. I've just realised. But this is the NT1, Rode NT1. But that's about a $300 microphone.
Yeah.
And then the Podcaster Pro, that's the $700 item.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap to get into audio, but it's if you want a reasonably good voice, etc. I mean, yeah, what do you do?
Yeah.
But because I run a business here, it's also tax deductible. But I don't think I can deduct much tax this year.
The company is pronounced Rode.
Company is pronounced Road.
Yeah. Rode.
Road. A red. So why have they got the O crossed out in the middle? What does that mean?
I don't know, but
it's an Australian
that's
company.
That's what Lauren is saying. Yeah. So yeah. But she said, yes, it feels weird to hear road pronounced road. Am I saying that right? Am I saying that right? I'm probably saying that right.
As long as you don't say rude.
Yeah. Well, that's
if you're rude, then it's not a road.
Yeah. But anyhow, but if Rode Australia, if you think,
yeah, we need sponsors, guys. We need sponsoring.
Thank you for the mic. I'm glad I actually went for this one. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, road is not a German word. So it is. I mean, road is isn't it a family name or something? I'm not 100% sure, but no, it has got no meaning in German.
Yeah. But anyhow, guys, we are just about on. Let's just hit 9 p.m. So.
Okay, guys, has anyone got any questions at all? Like, I mean, you can ask us any questions. Like, I mean, how do you get autographs? Are we going to print out calendars? Where can you get all the merch, T-shirts and hats?
Yeah. But guys, thank you for joining us. We had a good people in the chat tonight, and there was a lot of. I hope everybody enjoyed the CC. But don't forget to subscribe and like to Mark's channel.
So there's a lot of people asking questions about the walk there, Brett.
Oh yeah, it's coming, but not till next month, guys. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely next month. Even Mike wanted to know because he travels a lot of interstate. I understand he needs to know when the photo walks are on, but we might talk with him privately.
Yeah,
Brett.
Yeah, it's just that I've got a few other things that a few other videos that I might be doing, and So before that, I do want to do more workshops because we haven't had any workshops this year. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to hold off the workshops for a while because this whole pandemic thing is still not over yet, and looks like it's flaring up again down Victoria, which is we don't need to see. I hope it doesn't happen up here in Queensland. So
yeah, I mean we're always. I mean our thoughts should actually always be first and foremost going out to the people that are becoming sick and that have passed away and have died. Like last time I looked, there were over 1 million people that have died in South America. So it's not good news, and families are left heartbroken as well. So a lot of times we don't really think about that, and we always just want to go back to our lives, and yet some other people are really doing it tough and suffering big time. So we just have to hang in there a little bit longer, guys.
Yep.
So the right thing, wash your hands,
Yeah.
be sparkly, have showers.
As Mark and I, we were out the other day and doing it, and it's great to see people going out and they fulfill, but every now and then I see people doing the wrong thing and not obeying, keeping your distance and stuff like that. And
absolutely.
Yeah, but we need to keep reminding ourselves that we need to do this. It's not all over yet. So
yeah, I mean, don't forget, guys. I mean, just because there's been warning about the second spike of coronavirus, just because there's going to be a second spike doesn't mean there's not going to be a third or fourth spike. So just be vigilant about what's happening out there. And as much as it looks almost hilarious and funny when you go to restaurants and they got all these barriers everywhere and they want you to sign and put your name down and all that, just deal with it, and they are obviously trying to do the right thing to get their restaurant up and going, and they got strict guidelines. So as long as we all stick to it, we'll get there.
Much as they want to get to open their doors and get their business and that going too, but everybody's got to do the right thing and help them. I mean, everybody, we all in this together, and we don't want to see business closing down and being locked away and whatever. It's hurting everybody. But the last thing we need is a second outbreak forcing us to close down again. But anyhow, I'm not going to go too much longer about this because I don't want to get too political.
Not non-contact christening and portrait shoots are so much harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Easily, like with the portrait shoots, we can easily shoot with the 600 or the 400, and Yep. Easy,
well, I'm just waiting for the day when Sony actually makes a camera where you can look around corners with it. So you can just shoot around corners. You don't even have to get close, or you don't even have to be in eyesight. Just around the corner. I can see you. Everything's all right. But all jokes aside, guys, stay healthy and look after yourselves, and we'll get through this together. Just we'll be here next Sunday yet again, and giving your household a bit of a shake up and waking you all up and you off the couches. So hang in there, and until next time, say goodbye, Brett. We'll just
goodbye,
everyone.
And take care and keep on shooting. Okay, guys.
Okay, see you all later.
Bye.